Hello beautiful souls, this is Delush from Girl and Her Moon, and I'm here today to do the Astro Tarot for the Mercury retrograde that we will be experiencing soon on the 17th of February 2020. So firstly, I find it necessary to clarify that with Mercury being retrograde, the planet is not actually going backwards. It appears to be moving backwards in the sky, but it's actually just a slowdown. So when we look at Mercury from Earth, it kind of appears to be going backwards, but it's physically not really going backwards. It's actually a slowdown. So Mercury retrograde usually happens 3 to 4 times a year, and these periods last between 2 to 3 weeks in each cycle. So and these retrogrades don't only happen with Mercury, they also happen with the other planets as well, and they have their own kind of backward kind of feeling motion related to the issues that that planet and whichever house or area in the chart it falls in, and also how it personally will affect you. Now Mercury retrograde, according to the astrological signs, it's seen as it falls into specific houses and it kind of affects those areas of your life, but when you look at your personal birth chart, it is a totally different matter. I have a friend who's an Aries, I'm an Aquarius, and we both have Mercury retrograde in our 3rd house, representing communication and travel and all of that. So it is ideally best to have your chart analyzed to see where this Mercury retrograde will be affecting your life the most. So that way you can kind of have a better understanding of how to proceed with your life in general during that retrograde phase. So it starts on the 17th of February, and it's for 22 days. The full-on retrograde effect is for 22 days, but we also have the shadow time of this Mercury retrograde, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. Firstly, what does the Mercury retrograde, what kind of effects does it, have in your life? So because we've got also the Mercury being in Pisces, which is a very, very uncomfortable position for Mercury, because Mercury is all about intellect and communication, and Pisces is very illusionary. So during the Mercury retrograde period, we can expect delays, malfunctions with appliances or technological devices, interferences, spontaneous changes, mix-up, mental confusion, missed appointments, misunderstandings, misinterpretations, and a general breakdown in communication. So these are like the general kind of feelings we normally will feel during a Mercury retrograde. So and it's not the best time to make any long-term decisions or start anything new during this period. So Mercury being in Pisces, which moved into Pisces on the 4th of February this year, and that's when the shadow of Mercury retrograde actually started. So if you started feeling like your feet were going backwards when you wanted to do something or you had to do something and you felt like you're going backwards and you can't seem to get where you have to be or want to be. It's like, I've been trying to do this video for a while, and always having all these interruptions and delays and all of that, you know, things like that. Or even a feeling of not wanting to kind of do it. It's like that kind of feeling, the shadow. It's not full on, but it's still there. So it started on the 4th of February 2020, this year, and it will go into retrograde motion on the 17th of February at 12 degrees until the 5th of March 2020. So this Mercury retrograde will also have the effects of the sign of Cancer, which is all about nurturing, caring and being defensive. So besides the illusionary and sensitive and dreamy Pisces, because Mercury will be in Pisces, we also have the Cancer affecting it as well. So it's all about nurturing, caring and being defensive towards what you care about, such as family and home, etc. So the shadow period. Okay, it's when I'm talking about times with dates, I'm talking about universal times. Okay, so the shadow period started on the 4th of February and will be completed on the 29th of March. So towards the end of March, basically. You will still feel the effects of it even after the Mercury retrograde ends on the 5th of March. It will still continue until 29th of March with its after effects. It's called the shadow period. So Mercury will also move into Aquarius on the 5th of March while it is still in retrograde motion, and it will be in Aquarius until the 10th of March this year at 28 degrees, which is an exalted or favorable degree, where Mercury retrograde will finally end, but the shadow period will continue. So Mercury being in Aquarius, which will being in the exalted degree or favorable degree, will be all about coming together and calibrating and to get the job done. But there could be some misunderstandings if you're planning future projects. So I would suggest don't start anything new until the end of March. Do it after March. Do it even after the shadow period, because misunderstandings and things like that will, even if it's lesser than what the full effect of the retrograde is, it will still be present. So having Mercury in the planet of communication, which goes retrograde in dreamy Pisces, the sign of illusions, imagination and sensitivity, will result in greater difficulty in dealing with details where facts seem stranger than fiction, having difficulty in reasoning and feeling unclear about anything. Okay, so misunderstandings, confusions, stalled plans, glitches, technology and appliance failures may have started to show themselves already because of the shadow of the Mercury retrograde. But please remember, Mercury retrograde can also be a fine time to solve things that have been like a problem or that have not been working properly in the recent past. So it's like saying slow down, stop, reevaluate, have a look and fix it. That's why we have these retrograde cycles. It's kind of like reflecting back to be able to take a good look at what it is that we're missing and then fix it. Okay, so that's all about the information of Mercury retrograde. Let's start with the signs with the tarot. Okay, so Aries, you're in the 12th house and during this Mercury retrograde, and expect troubles at work regarding documents and contracts. So we have a 5-card spread for the Mercury retrograde. And this is for Aries. As always, I shuffle the cards and they have to flick out. Card of confusion. Okay, so I've got 5 cards, and the first one is the 10 of Pentacles, Aries. And the 10 of Pentacles represents, it could represent family, it could represent ancestors, your roots, it could represent the home, properties, possessions you own. So what you need to hear from the universe during the Mercury retrograde is look at what is safe and secure within your home or within the way you were brought up, your upbringing, okay, your traditional values. Okay, so what you need to hear from the universe during the Mercury retrograde, the universe is actually saying, look at family, traditional values, look at what is safe and secure, what makes you feel safe and secure, okay? The second card is, what will this Mercury retrograde bring into your awareness? It relates to ideas, new ideas, okay? So this Mercury retrograde is actually going to help you regarding work and new ideas, new projects, new things that you can think of but not put into motion as yet. Okay, so these could be like things that you jot down that you could probably work on after the full-on effect of Mercury retrograde is completed. The third card is what you need to revisit during this Mercury retrograde. So this is showing a workable team. A team looks like 3 people possibly that are working towards something that is kind of long term, okay, because the earth element through the pentacles shows long term situations. So what you need to revisit during this Mercury retrograde reflects to your career, reflects to the people that you work with, your colleagues, your workplace. It could be reflecting to how you function in that and how others are functioning in that. But it seems like you're coming back together in some way. So it could be done during when Aquarius actually moves in, or Mercury moves into Aquarius. So the fourth card is what you can do to have a smooth Mercury retrograde. And this is saying, well, you'll be very undecisive and very unclear about which way you're going. So kind of hang in there. Hang in there and let it pass. Do not try to make a decision, and just wait until all things seem clear, because this is a card of confusion and being unclear about things. So what kind of break do you need to take for now? We have the Wheel of Fortune, and the Wheel of Fortune is a higher or major card in the tarot deck, and this is like a message coming from the universe or higher powers saying that you need to go with the ebb and flow. So just go with the flow for now, okay? So that's for you, Aries. Make the most of the Mercury retrograde. Taurus. Taurus, you're in the 11th house, and the 11th house is all about communication issues with children, your children, or children in general, or in your love life. I'm not talking about a commitment like a spouse or a long-term commitment that you have. I'm talking about a romantic partner, you know, someone that you've possibly just recently met, or someone that you've been flirting around with, that kind of romantic partner. So there will be communication issues with these people in general in your life. Okay, so let's see what the tarot has to say for you, Taurus. So we have a 5-card spread. Okay. So 5 cards need to flick out, not fall out, like that. And one last card for Taurus. There we go, flicked out into the deck. Alright, so the very first card we got the same card for Aries in the same position. So the very first card is the card 10 of Pentacles. It's an Earth element card, and it represents security within the home, within the family, long-term commitments. It could represent your roots. It can represent your ancestral line. It could represent your extended family, your traditions and cultural upbringing. It can represent home and real estate, properties, inheritance, all of that. Okay, so what you need to hear from the universe during the Mercury retrograde is find security within the family and your traditional values. Okay, it may be where you live, those traditional values are very important, so consider sticking to them for now, until the Mercury retrograde is over, because there could be misunderstandings with the way you express yourself. So you may come across as being too marginal, too out there, and it may be unacceptable during the Mercury retrograde phase. Okay, the second card here we have the 6 of Wands. So what will this Mercury retrograde bring into your awareness? It will bring into your awareness of where you want to be, how you want to succeed in life, where you want to get to in life, okay, with success. So that will be in your mind. Those will be like ideas, but it's not something that you should be acting upon during the Mercury retrograde. Keep those in mind, or even take notes if you have to, and act upon them after the end of March, or even when the shadow of Mercury retrograde is completed. Okay, so the third card we have the High Priestess, and the third question is, what do you need to revisit during this Mercury retrograde? And it's saying you need to revisit the inner depths of yourself that you've been keeping secret, or your subconscious in some way. Okay, so what it is within you that you have been keeping secret, revisit that. Or if there have been secrets withheld from you, try to see what it is. Okay, but do not analyze it, do not act upon it, because it may not actually be what it is. Because during this time, with Mercury being in retrograde, it can be something like an illusion. It may actually be, may not even be real. Okay, so until you're clear about it, go back to it. It could even represent someone in your life that you feel like is keeping some secrets from you, or not being very honest or open with you. It could even be yourself not being honest with yourself. Okay, so you have to kind of try and see what it is that is the underlying issue, why you're acting that way, or why this person is acting that way. But it's just in a time where you need to acknowledge it, whether it's real or not, whether it's a fragment of your imagination or not that's overworking. You have to kind of analyze it, but don't work on it too much. Look back at it after March. Okay, so the fourth card is what you can do for a smooth Mercury retrograde. It is saying don't try to bring in change to your life at the moment. Okay, if you feel restricted, if you feel like you can't move, don't try to force the issue. The more you force it, the more you'll end up being in this kind of position, especially within your mind. It will become a habit, and it will be something that will be stuck with you for a long time. So do not try to force the issue. If you feel restricted, if you feel you can't move, or you desire freedom, well, it's not the time to act upon it during this time. Just be patient and wait until the Mercury retrograde is over, or even until the shadow period is over, until the end of March. The last card is, what kind of break do you need to take for now? Just enjoy your independence. Enjoy your independence, being on your own. Maybe solitude time is best for you during this time. Okay? So, that is your Astro Tarot for Mercury retrograde, Taurus. So try to make the best of the Mercury retrograde energies. Gemini. Gemini, dear Gemini, you're in the 10th house. And the 10th house is all about your career. The investments that you put into your career. So these investments may be in danger. So it is not time to put any investments or start anything new relating to investments or anything like that, especially issues relating to home. If you're moving house, re-establishing house, be a little bit more patient. Wait until the end of March, and until the Mercury retrograde is over, and even the shadow time frame is over, which is on the 29th of March. And then decide what you want to do relating to home and your position in society, basically. Okay, if there are investments you want to make, then you can make investments relating to home and your position in society. So these are not clear, and they may come with a lot of consequences later down the track. So try to be patient until this energy is over. Okay, let's have a look and see what the tarot says for Gemini. We've got a 5-card reading, 5-card layout. As always, we want the cards to flick out. So 5 cards for Gemini. And one last card. Okay, so the very first card is what you need to hear from the universe during the Mercury retrograde. It is saying, do not rush into situations. Your mind is normally very fast and active, but it's saying, refrain from acting too quickly on anything or making decisions too quickly. this is not the time to act upon anything too quickly. Okay, be very careful, but do not act upon anything and make decisions during this time. Okay, do not be hasty. So what will this Mercury retrograde bring into your awareness? It will bring into your awareness what you already own, things that you have manifested. You're going to feel very grateful and start doing some sort of gratitude work at the emotional level. Okay, so that's a really nice thing. That will bring that into your awareness. So what do you need to revisit during this Mercury retrograde? Well, we've got the Queen of Wands, and the Queen of Wands represents either someone in your life, okay, a female who is someone who's very active, fire energy, random, ideas type person. So it's like you're probably revisiting situations relating to this person. Maybe it's someone you work with, or it could be the type of energies that you should be revisiting. So the Queen of Wands usually embodies, you know, like more physical type personality. They're active, reactive, they're outdoorsy, they're into physical workouts, sports, or even things like drama, music, you know, performative stuff. She's very creative, and she's fiercely independent, and she loves cats. So it may be that you're visiting someone like that, or you have to embody that kind of energy within yourself. Okay, so during this retrograde season. Okay, so the fourth card is what you can do to have a smooth Mercury retrograde. It's saying keep your energies aligned. Keep your energy, try to ground yourself, do grounding work, try to go into nature, near water, and work with the energies. Do some energy work. Keep your energies aligned, okay? Meditation maybe. And what kind of break do you need to take for now? You've got the Lover's card. It's saying just enjoy life for now, the way it is. There may be communication breakdown with your other half. Not from you, but from possibly from them. But the connection is still there. It won't be broken off. The connection is still there. There could also be some sort of decision that you need to do, to make. And it's saying, well, you know, it's time to take a break from that decision at the moment. Do not make the decision now, okay? So, time to take a break from decisions, and if there is a communication breakdown with your other half, just take a break. Kind of leave space between you and the other person. Okay, so that's for Gemini. Hope you enjoy working with the Mercury retrograde energies, Gemini. Cancer, sweet, sweet Cancer. You are in the 9th house, and you'll become very emotional. As you are emotional, it will make you even more emotional, and you may have troubles or arguments or even fights with your sisters and brothers, siblings, even cousins, or neighbors, people that are close to you, okay? So let's have a look and see what the tarot has for you, Cancer. Okay, what does the tarot cards suggest for you for the Mercury retrograde? We have a 5-card spread for this cycle. Okay, they keep falling off the table. So 5 cards for Cancer. And one last card. No, that was a drop. One last card. There we go. Okay, that's for Cancer. The very first card here represents what you need to hear from the universe during the Mercury retrograde. And the universe is saying to you that you need to become more detached from emotions as much as possible. The Queen of Swords is not an emotional queen. Whether it's a queen or a king, you've got both of them in this spread. Okay, it's saying that you need to be detached from your emotions as much as possible. But if you try to find some sort of logic in whatever it is, that may not help either. So try to be a bit distant and aloof as much as possible when you relate to other people. Okay, be a bit more solo, because the Queen of Swords is like someone who is on their own. So more you time during this time. So what do you need to revisit during this, what will this Mercury retrograde bring into your awareness? Something relating to the community, okay? General community, local community, your neighbors, people that you see day in, day out within the local community, okay? So what do you need, what will this bring into your awareness? Your awareness will be focused on what is happening within your local community. The people that you associate with, that are around you, close to you, okay? The third card here is, what do you need to revisit during this Mercury retrograde? It's saying you need to revisit the emotion of happiness. You need to have a look at what brings you happiness. You need to go inwards and see what brings you happiness. Okay? So the fourth card is what you can do for a smooth Mercury retrograde, Cancer. It's saying be optimistic as much as possible, try to be happy, do not get emotional, because this is a time where you will feel your emotions being all over the place, especially relating to people around you, okay? Local community. And this is saying that you need to revisit happiness, and you need to also be a part of that emotion as much as possible during this time, okay? The Sun card is all about happiness. So what kind of break do you need to take for now? Take a break from your emotions. Try to be more of that detached, aloof, cool, calm and collected type of person in a very mature way, okay? So that's what's coming through with the tarot, and that's your Astro Tarot. I hope you can make the best of this Mercury retrograde cycle. Okay, so we have Leo next. Leo, you are in the 8th house, dear Leo. And the 8th house is related to money issues, or issues relating to other people's money, basically. And considering your material and personal values. Okay, so let's see what the tarot has for you. We've got a 5-card spread through the tarot for this Mercury retrograde. So 5 cards. Okay, they keep jumping back into the deck. we want you out of the deck if you want to jump out, dear cards. So 5 cards for Leo. I've got 5 cards. Okay, so the very first card we have is the King of Wands. And the King of Wands comes through as this is what you need to hear from the universe, okay, during this Mercury retrograde. It is saying that you have to embody the energies of the King of Wands. The King of Wands is someone who is authoritative in the type of work they do. But it's saying that you need to kind of relax and lay back and not act upon anything that is new, because the wands represent new ideas, represents ideas basically. So it's saying it's all good to have those ideas, jot them down, but do not act upon them during this Mercury retrograde cycle. And if you need to act upon them, try to make sure it is done at the end of March. So beginning of April. Okay, so that's coming through as that. The second card here is what will this Mercury retrograde bring into your awareness? Well, on the mental level, you will realize how you can release yourself from those chaotic, dramatic, or unsettling way of being, your worries, and kind of put your mind at rest. Okay, so maybe you will learn how to go with the flow. You'll move away from unsettling issues within the mind and kind of, you might end up saying, well, blame it on Mercury retrograde, it's not my fault. So yeah, you will actually learn to be more at peace within your mind. You'll learn to move away from worries as much as possible. Okay, so what do you need to revisit during this Mercury retrograde? You need to have a look at where you are in regards to your values, your possessions, money, or even shared resources. Okay, so you have to have a look at them, kind of see where it is, but even if you try to analyze it a lot, you may not get anywhere, because during this time when Mercury is in Pisces, it is kind of like unclear. It's very foggy. It's not, nothing seems real. It seems like you're in another dimension and everything is kind of skewed. So don't try to analyze it to come to a conclusion. Just look at it, reflect at it. Even situations in the past that you tried to resolve, maybe you may come to an understanding, but you may act upon it and resolve it by the end of March. Okay. The fourth card here is what you can do for a smooth Mercury retrograde. Find safety and security within the home, with the family, and stay indoors maybe. This is all about the family. This is all about your also your traditional values, your cultural values, traditional values, and it's showing home and property as well in this card. Okay, but mostly security within the family. So for a smooth Mercury retrograde, find security and happiness within the family. That's what's coming through. So what kind of break do you need to take for now? It's saying you need to take a break from making decisions. Don't make decisions. Do not make decisions that you are not clear about. You're still unclear about them. Just be patient and wait for the time where you can be more clear to make decisions, which will probably be towards the end of March. Okay, so after the 29th of March, things will become more clear and more workable. Okay, so that is for you, Leo. So please make the best of the Mercury retrograde cycle, the energies. Virgo, you are in the 7th house. Now the 7th house for you during the Mercury retrograde is about, you'll have trouble putting your point across, okay? Redefining your own personality to rediscover a new way of interacting with others is probably one of the main things that will happen to you during the Mercury retrograde, okay? So you will have trouble putting your point across, especially to your partner possibly, okay? And by redefining your own personality, you will rediscover a new way of interacting with others. Let's have a look and see what the tarot has to say. We have a 5-card layout, and we'll shuffle the cards until we got all the cards we need to flick out. So we've got 5 cards. And the very first card, Virgo, is relating to what you need to hear from the universe during the Mercury retrograde. It is saying be just. Be just and also balanced in your interactions, okay? You need a balance, and you also have to be just and fair towards others. The second card is, what will this Mercury retrograde bring into your awareness? You will realize what makes you happy and what doesn't. Okay, so you will realize possibly, you know, your children, or even if you've got grandchildren, your grandchildren bring you happiness. The family brings happiness, okay? Or even being like a child, the little child within, being like that brings you happiness as well, okay? The third is the Ace of Wands, and this is what you need to revisit during this Mercury retrograde, is probably an idea you had in the recent past and you still haven't acted upon it, and it's something that you need to revisit. Maybe take a look at it, see what you can do with it, but you still will be unclear about what to do next in regards to that situation. So do not act upon it until the end of March, until March is through, because Mercury shadow period ends on the 29th or the 30th of March, depending on where you are. The fourth card is what you can do for a smooth Mercury retrograde. It's saying take time off, rest, meditate, sleep as much as possible. Relieve the worries from your mind. Okay, take time for yourself. Rest as much as possible. What kind of break do you need to take for now? You need to take a break from looking into the details, retracting all the information, you know, trying to find the information, looking into the details. You need to take a break from all that for now. Okay, it's not the time, because you may actually think that you're learning something or finding information which is actually not real or true. It could be a part of your imagination that makes it up, because it's that kind of Mercury retrograde with Pisces. So yeah, take a break from learning or looking at the details, or finding what the cause is, etc. Okay, so just let go of that for now. You can go back to that after the end of March or beginning of April. Okay, so that's for you, Virgo, and try to make the best of this Mercury retrograde cycle. Libra, you are in the 6th house. During this time, you may have a short temper, Libra. So prefer to retire in solitude as much as possible. Okay, no matter what you do, everything will just end up pissing you off. So try to be in solitude as much as possible during this time. So let's have a look and see what the tarot has to say. That was your astro. So your tarot. Let's have a look. Okay, so look at this one, and then we got this one. We need another two, and one last one. There we go. So Libra, the very first card is the Ten of Wands, and this is what the universe during the Mercury retrograde is trying to tell you. This is what you should be hearing. It's saying, take a rest from all that heavy load. Stop pushing everything all at once. Okay, take a rest. Stop pushing everything all at once. You're not going to get anywhere. You're probably going to injure yourself. So do not push, whether it's physical work, whether it's mental work, whether it's related to whatever it is you're doing, okay? That you need to do during that time. If it's heavy, if it's too much work, if there's a lot to deal with, let it go. It will actually cause you more harm. You may end up becoming really frustrated. Okay. The next card is, what will this Mercury retrograde bring into your awareness? It will bring into your awareness the sensitive side of you, okay? And possibly a certain person who is male, fair, in appearance, very sensitive, and a healing companion, you know, someone who is, their presence is very healing. They're very kind. So possibly an emotionally sensitive type person as well. So this person may come into your awareness, or you may embody the energies of the King of Cups, which is your sensitivity and your healing side. Okay, so you may become more aware of your sensitivity. That's probably the reason why you will have a short temper, because you'll get really sensitive and then get really angry at people because they do not understand you, as the Mercury retrograde is blocking communication. Okay, so the third card here is what you need to do. What do you need to revisit during the Mercury retrograde? You probably need to revisit in looking at how to balance your energies. Okay, so balancing work, balancing your duties, balancing your finances, as well as balancing your energies, balancing everything, trying to get a balance into it. Okay, so this is something that you need to revisit. Maybe you have let it go in the past, now you have to bring it back to balance. If you can't do it now, you probably understand how to do it and probably act upon it by the end of March. The fourth card here is what you can do for a smooth Mercury retrograde. Okay, so what you can do is stop looking at the details, try not to get more information. It's going to become information overload and you're going to become all scattered. You won't be able to define what the true answer is. Okay, so do not look more into the details. Try to stay away. Just go with the flow as much as possible. What kind of break do you need to take for now? Possibly a break like a short holiday, somewhere close to water, across water, so that you can get away from the stuff that have been, creating all that nervous tension in your mind, where it results in some sort of short temper outbursts, getting angry and so on. Okay, so you may need a short holiday. And if you are thinking of travel, make sure that everything is done properly, because there could be like lost paperwork, delays. Even if you're flying, there could be flight delays. But I see like near water, so you may actually go for a cruise or something. But again, watch out with the travel. You may even have to do it after the Mercury retrograde. Okay, so after March. So that's for you, Libra. Yeah, do the traveling after March if possible. And if there is any other way you can do traveling, is probably travel within the mind. Do some sort of meditation and travel within the mind. That's probably the most safest way to travel during a Mercury retrograde. Okay. Scorpio, you are in the 5th house, and Scorpio, you could have disputes with friends, so this may be a great time to revise or reorganize, or to clean your circle of friends. Okay, so take a look at who you're associating with and if they really support you or not. Okay, it's time to maybe it's time where you do understand certain people are not very compatible with you. Okay, even though Mercury retrograde in Pisces can be a time where things are unclear, sometimes things can become clear. And Scorpio, you are probably one of the zodiac signs that will be affected quite strongly during the Mercury retrograde. Okay, so keep that in mind. Let's have a look and see what the tarot cards have to say for you. Okay, we've got a 5-card layout. So 5 cards for Scorpio. Okay, so 5 cards for Scorpio. Oops. That was a drop. There we go. Got the last one. Alright, so the very first card we have the King of Cups, and this is what you need to hear from the universe during the Mercury retrograde. The universe is saying you have to understand the true energies you embody. Okay, so you are a water sign. King of Cups is a water sign. You are a water sign. King of Cups is also a masculine energy. Okay, so more dramatic, more extroverted. So if you're normally introverted, you may end up being a little bit more extroverted during this time, where you can express yourself easily, especially relating to other people around you, relating to friends. Okay, so the 2 of Wands represents friends. Okay, friendship. So the universe is saying understand yourself. Also be aware of what it is that you are going through at a soulful level during this time. There could be some other messages coming through for you. Okay, The second card here is, what will this Mercury retrograde bring into your awareness? It will bring into your awareness your association with your friends. Two of Wands represents friendship. So have a look at them and see if certain friends are revealed as being unsupportive for your soul growth, where you can, you know, release them and let them go. Okay. The third card here is, what do you need to revisit during this Mercury retrograde? Something relating to the home or family. Okay, so some issue relating to the home or family that you need to revisit, take a look at, and maybe resolve the issue after the Mercury retrograde, even after the shadow of the Mercury retrograde, which is representing 4 within April. Okay, so the 4th month. Okay, so end of March, beginning of April. That's when you can revisit those issues relating to your home as well as your family. So the 4th card here is what you can do for a smooth Mercury retrograde. Well, this is saying that there could be some certain situations within yourself that will arise, that it's like a higher, some sort of message from the universe, or higher calling, or something that is going to happen within yourself that is from external forces. Okay, so that's going to help you to have a smooth Mercury retrograde. Okay, so there could be some sort of enlightenment as well, some sort of situation where you will feel more alive or enlightened in regards to a certain situation. What kind of break do you need to take for now? Well, you need to take a break from possibly trying to make everyone else happy. Okay, if that's you, trying to please everyone, trying to make everyone else happy, take a break from that. Be yourself. Okay, be yourself. And if, like I said, if there are people around you that you need to release, well, bless them and release them, because they're probably not good for your soul growth in some way. Okay. Okay, so that is your Astro Tarot, Scorpio. Try to make the best of this Mercury retrograde energy. Sagittarius. Okay, so Sagittarius, you're in the 4th house. And do you have teenagers? Okay, so Sagittarius, it's saying that there will be chaos at home with all kinds of complaints coming from the family. Maybe there's like communication breakdown with your teenage children. Or maybe your teenage children are having communication breakdowns from you. Maybe you're the rebellious one. It could be that way, because Sagittarius can tend to be they can embody that kind of energy as well, so it's not something out of their line, because they have that optimistic, childish type of, you know, positive energy that is just bubbly. Okay, so Sagittarius, let's have a look and see what the tarot has for you. Okay, so let's see what the tarot has for you. We've got 5 cards we need for this layout for the Mercury retrograde. So we need 5 cards. Oops. Now we're all going to fall. Okay, so the very first card represents what you need to hear from the universe during the Mercury retrograde. The universe is saying, Sagittarius, you don't have to be the one shouldering all the load. You don't have to be the one doing everything for everyone else. Okay? Let those rods down and let everyone else take up their own responsibility. They're old enough to do it. And if it's within the workplace, well, don't let them take advantage of you. Drop it. You could injure yourself. Okay? That's what the universe is saying. You're taking on too much. And for what? You do it, but then no one acknowledges it, does it? Do they? So, do only what falls in your part. Second card here is, what will this Mercury retrograde bring into your awareness? Something about either your spouse, partner, or your boss, or even your father. Okay, something that you'll be aware of during this Mercury retrograde. It's either relating to your, if you're married, your husband, if you're in a long-term relationship, your partner, your employer, and even your father. Okay, so any one of these, maybe even all of them. Okay, so someone in authority. This Mercury retrograde will bring this person into your awareness in some way. Okay, the third card here is, what do you need to revisit during this Mercury retrograde? Something that was hurtful. Someone hurt you in the past. Some sort of hurt relating to either relationships, work situation, within the family. Okay, so some sort of hurt that's going to bubble up back again during this time. It will resurface where you'll have to kind of deal with it and then bless it and release it to the universe, so the universe can deal with it, because it's not really something that you would probably want to continue having in your system. So you need to release it in some way. Okay. The fourth card here is what you can do for a smooth Mercury retrograde. It is saying that you should be enjoying the sensual side of yourself. Enjoy good food, enjoy good drinks, enjoy the fruits of the earth. Okay, enjoy good drinks, enjoy good wine or whatever it may be, and food, but wholesome food. Okay, not unhealthy trans fat type food. Wholesome food, because this is an earth element card. If you can see the grapevines in the background or in the forefront there, everything related to the earth, all the beauty, all that sensual stuff. So yeah, enjoy as much as you can, and also do a lot of grounding work. Okay, because this is earth element, so it's saying grounding work. What you can do for a smooth Mercury retrograde, ground yourself as much as possible. That's coming through with the earth element. So what kind of break do you need to take for now? Completely take a break. Go to bed. Sleep on it. Meditate. Go somewhere where no one can bother you. By yourself, take a break. Okay? So that's what's coming through for you, Sagittarius. And try to make the best of this Mercury retrograde cycle. Capricorn. Capricorn, you are in the third house. So you lose your cool related to higher education and or with people living abroad, or it may be people that you are associating that are are overseas. It could be that maybe you bought something from overseas and there's issues related to it. So overseas connections in some way, and you'll lose your cool related to situations like that. And even, as I mentioned, relating to higher education or even spiritual education, things like that. Okay, so let's see what the tarot has to say. That was your Astro. Let's see what's coming up for Capricorn. Whoa, okay. I don't want all of them at once, I just want them one at a time. There we go. Okay, one last card. There we go. So we've got 5 cards for this layout for the Mercury retrograde. The very first card is what the universe is trying to tell you. Okay, so what you need to hear from the universe during the Mercury retrograde is be mindful of how you express your thoughts by articulating them, by messaging them, by writing them. Okay, so this is a card of being too honest and too sharply honest, where you can actually hurt people's feelings. Okay, so during the Mercury retrograde, your communication style could be like a knife. Okay, so be mindful of how you express yourself verbally. It could be articulating, speaking, messaging, writing. It could even be by singing. It doesn't matter, whichever way. Okay, as long as the message from your mind is coming through in some way, okay, that people can perceive. Be very mindful. You might end up with your foot in your mouth. That's another thing. So you may actually end up being the fool. The second card here is, what will this Mercury retrograde bring into your awareness? The happiness that you have within your family. Okay, so you will understand what makes you happy within the family. What's important that makes you happy. Okay, so that understanding will come into your awareness. The third card is, what do you need to revisit during this Mercury retrograde? If there was some sort of transformation that you went through just recently or in the recent months, it's time to revisit that to see if there was anything that was not completed, or maybe you missed the idea of it and you're trying to understand it. Maybe someone passed away and you're trying to get over that. Okay, so maybe there was a total change in your life in some way. And you're trying to understand why this has occurred, or how you can make it better. But do not act upon it. Just meddle with the thought. Do not act upon doing anything until the end of March, because we still have the Mercury shadow after Mercury retrograde ends, and things will still not be as clear until the end of March. Alright, so the fourth card here is what you can do for a smooth Mercury retrograde. It's saying, well, maybe you can delve inwards, look at the inner side of yourself during this time, and maybe follow the motions of the moon, how it kind of affects you, because this is like imaginary as well as illusion, as well as going inwards. It's like, this is like Pisces energy, and Mercury is in Pisces energy, and it's like you will be communicating with that part of you. Okay, so the way you can, what you can do for a smooth Mercury retrograde is kind of delve inwards within your spiritual side. Okay, delve inwards, maybe daydream if you have to, but also go with the flow of the energies of the moon. The moon energies are specifically shown here. Okay, so how does that affect you? Okay, so that's coming through. The fifth card here is, what kind of break do you need to take for now? What kind of break do you need to take for now? Take a break from communications completely. The Page of Swords represents messages. Messages gone through either through speaking, singing, written words, spoken words, messaged words, messages in general, whichever way it comes across. It's very similar to this one, but this is specifically relating to messages. Okay, so it's saying maybe refrain from sending messages to people, maybe putting things on social media and things like that. So because it can really put you in a tight spot. Okay, so that's coming through from the tarot. So Capricorn, try to make the best of this Mercury retrograde energy. Okay, so next we have Aquarius, and Aquarius, you're in the second house. The second house relates to your own money and possessions, the money that you earn, basically. So there could be financial problems, so you should pay attention to financial activity. Okay, it could be maybe some sort of delays with payments. It could be that the amount you thought you had is actually not that amount. It could be that maybe your card was used without you knowing in some way. Your card was hacked, things like that. Okay, so check your finances as much as possible and see what is going on. Keep an eye on it, and do not spend a lot during this time. Okay, let's see what the tarot has to say for you. Okay, we've got a 5-card layout with the tarot, and let's see what is coming through. We've got the Heartbreak card as the first card. One last card, there we go. Okay, so the very first card shows what you need to hear from the universe during the Mercury retrograde, and we have the 3 of Swords. The 3 of Swords relate to some sort of heartbreak. It could even be heart problems, but heartbreak, sorrow, sadness. So if there was some sort of sadness or sorrow or something that you were not happy about, basically, it does relate to you acknowledging that. Okay, so you have to acknowledge that, and if something didn't work out, if someone passed away, if someone hurt your feelings, whatever it may be, at what level, it doesn't matter, some sort of hurt, okay, you have to acknowledge that. That's what the universe is saying. Do not push it to the back of your mind. Acknowledge it. Bring it out to the open. Okay, so what will this Mercury retrograde bring into your awareness? Okay, so with this card, I'm seeing that relating to finances. Okay, you've probably been the person who has been supporting the family lately. Okay, and it is probably time to maybe have a look at your finances and see if there is a lack in some way, how you can, balance that. This is saying that something about your finances is going to change. The way you use your finances, basically. Okay, something about that is going to change because we've got the transformation card coming up next. Okay, so the third card here is, what do you need to revisit during this Mercury retrograde? Some sort of transformation, some sort of change that occurred just recently within your life. It could be the death of someone, because we've got, if you heard like, you know, someone passing away, it could be that coming back, the emotions coming back. It could also be relating to something that has changed to a situation that's not going to be the way it used to be. Okay. If you've been having heart problems or problems relating to the heart in some way, there is a chance that if there is a bad habit that you have, you may be thinking of releasing that bad habit that's coming through as well. So it could be that you will probably undertake this or try to struggle with it during the Mercury retrograde. I don't know how it will work out for you, but it shows some sort of transformation in that sense. Okay. Also, I do see some sort of joint problems coming through as well. So it is relating to this bad habit that you have to release. Okay, so the fourth card is what you can do for a smooth Mercury retrograde. Well, it's saying be patient, be understanding, be sensitive to other people's feelings, and be in touch with your own emotions. Okay. And the fifth card is, what kind of break do you need to take for now? You need to take a break from overspending. You need to start holding on to your finances. Okay, so that's what it's saying. You need to take a break from overspending. Time to hold on to your finances. Aquarius, that is for you, your Astro Tarot, and please try to make the best of this Mercury retrograde energy. Pisces, you're in the first house during this Mercury retrograde, and you'll feel lost and confused, and it is possible for an ex-partner to return into your life. If you may actually bump into someone that you used to date, or they may actually come to your door and say, I've missed you, please take me back. And you can say to them, well, come back in April and then tell me what it is that you want. Because this is all like, you know, the emotions are all over the place during this Mercury retrograde, and you can't take them seriously. If something like that happens, you cannot take them seriously. Let's see what the tarot has for you, Pisces. So 5 cards for this layout for the Mercury retrograde. Five cards. Getting very positive cards for you, Pisces, even though it's a Mercury retrograde layout. Okay, so the very first card is what the universe is trying to say. So what you need to hear from the universe during the Mercury retrograde, it's saying try to enjoy everything as much as possible, even if you feel like you're in fairyland. Okay, so it doesn't matter, just enjoy yourself as much as possible with the energies. You may actually feel like you're at home in some way. Okay? So what will this Mercury retrograde bring into your awareness? Something about your local environment. Okay, something about your local environment that you feel you need to conform to. but you just can't, because you are different. You have to be you. Okay, so you're aware of the difference, but also this is also talking about your spirituality as well. Okay, so it can also bring up your spirituality, awareness towards your spirituality, your beliefs. Maybe certain beliefs you feel like are not serving you anymore and it's time to release them. Well, it could be that you think you need to, but after the Mercury retrograde has completed at the end of March, you may decide that no, actually that is not what I really desire. I actually do like to keep that belief or faith, whatever it may be. Okay. So the third card is, what do you need to revisit during this Mercury retrograde? You need to visit your inner feeling towards happiness. What makes you happy? Okay. What was it that made you happy? Certain occurrences that happened recently that made you happy, what were they? Trying to acknowledge them and understand what kind of pushes those buttons to make you happy. Okay. The fourth card is what you can do for a smooth Mercury retrograde. This is saying, well, be poetic, be dreamy, be yourself. Okay, be Pisces, be yourself. And kind of communicate your dreamy side by maybe writing song lyrics or poetry. You may be singing, you may be reading poetry, you may be just daydreaming and living, you know, in your fairy tale land. Okay, so that's the best and the most smoothest way you can overcome this Mercury retrograde. What kind of break do you need to take for now, Pisces? With the Eight of Wands, it's saying, well, you need to take a break from social media, a lot of communication, writing messages, sending messages, receiving messages. Maybe you need to switch your phone off. And also coming up with all these different ideas. You have to stop doing that for now. Okay? And travel. You should refrain from traveling during this time. That's what it's saying. So that is your Astro Tarot for the Mercury retrograde cycle, Pisces. Enjoy the energies as much as possible.